The Samsung Radioshack 500 on Fox is brought to you by Stacker 2, the world's strongest fat burner. By Visa, proud sponsor of NASCAR. By Enterprise Rent-A-Car, we'll pick you up. And by Craftsman, the official tools of NASCAR and NHRA.
And welcome back to the Samsung Radioshack 500. You're watching Fox Live. NASCAR on Fox from the Great American Speedway. And you don't have to go very far in a NASCAR race to see the patriotism no matter what's going on around the world. As we have Matt Kenseth leading Jeff Gordon. Jeff Gordon, by the way, Texas, one of 4 tracks on the current schedule that Jeff Gordon has not had a victory. Now the others, Phoenix, Miami, and Chicago, running second to Kenseth, who of course won last year and trying to become the first to win more than one race here at the Texas Motor Speedway with Jeff Hammond, Chris Myers in the Hollywood Hotel. And nice to have you with us. Jeff, you want to give us a clear explanation of what went on? We showed different replays of Jeff Gordon racing back to the line against Matt Kenseth.
Well, I tell you what I know right now is that when we go into the drivers' meeting every week, NASCAR will tell the drivers and the crew chiefs, caution comes out, let the leader keep the lead cars that are a lap or more a lap down. Let them race it back. And that's the reason why this right now is a little bit under review, because they feel like that when the caution came out, Matt Kenseth backed off. He was the leader. He should have been the only one racing the 99, the 21, and the 97 back. And when Jeff Gordon shot by him, that was kind of not the way things have been explained during the drivers' meeting. But right now, I think what Mike Joy's got some more information from the NASCAR president, Mike Helton.
Let's go up to Mike.
Yeah.
Well, again, we've had a discussion about how the rule is enforced, and it is, as Jeff pointed out, that the leader being the leader at the time of the caution flag is responsible for keeping cars a lap down or having the option to let them go, and that the second place car, in this case Jeff Gordon, does not have the option of then taking the lead between the caution flag and the start finish line to determine who is or isn't a lap down. So Matt Kenseth remains the leader of the race, and Kurt Busch and Ricky Rudd get a lap back from Matt Kenseth, and Jeff Gordon's passing of Kenseth between the caution flag coming out and the start finish line did not happen.
So the 97's back on the lead lap. Ricky Rudd gets one of his 2 laps back.
It's a little different interpretation of the gentleman's agreement not to race back to the flag that we have seen in the past. Well, Darrell, here's the point in the race where you said a lot of the passing would take place as they come up to speed on these restarts.
Oh, yeah, you got everybody right here. Like I say, this is the closest you've been to the lead all day. For some of these guys, better take advantage of it.
I mean, Matt Kenseth had pulled out to a 1 1/4 second lead because second place Jeff Gordon's back there with John Andretti in the 43, Jeremy Mayfield in the 19, those guys are trying to get a lap back. Meanwhile, Ryan Newman's going to make it 3 wide, headed off into turn 3 to try to battle Jeff Gordon for second place. Ryan's on the bottom of the racetrack, which probably will prevail.
Yeah, well, he had a run, and Jeff, I think, gave him a little bit of extra room, because if he didn't, he was going to bam into him.
And you know, I want to go back and I want to make a comment about that right a while ago. I have never known that to be an issue. We race back to the caution, you know, and again, if that's the rule, then that's the rule. I know the key is a gentleman's agreement, but I always thought it was open season. You race back to the caution if you wanted to.
Oh yeah, I've never known it any other way. But the more I do TV, the more I find out, the less I know.
Well, what Mike Helton is saying is that I guess NASCAR is enforcing the gentleman's agreement not to race back to the flag, except for the leader, who has the responsibility of keeping cars a lap down or not. And that's how it's applied.
And right now, by Jeff Gordon not having the lead, it's cost him almost 3 seconds to leader Matt Kenseth by being back there in lap traffic.
A little damage to the back of Kevin Harvick's car.
Boy, that's 3 good ones. He got Robbie Gordon, Jimmy Spencer, and there's Harvick sitting there watching them. Something's got to give here, guys.
Harvick is up in fourth, but I'm going to tell you what, Darrell, I've seen so many times. I don't know about these 2003 bodies. That area in that rear bumper open, if nothing comes loose, that sometimes will help these cars drive good, help rear downforce.
Yeah, lets the air out from under the back of the car. Could be a plus.
You know, Tony Stewart was within about 2.5, 3 seconds of going a lap down a while ago. Now he's back on the lead lap up there running for 8th position in the 20 car.
And don't think for a second that these bumpers have the impact protection of the bumper on your street car.
Well, Darrell made this point at Bristol. You want the front bumper tough, where you can use it as a chrome horn. You want that rear bumper where if somebody gets against you, they don't spin you out.
Oh yeah, you don't want to feel it. Just let it crumble up. You don't really need it. Just looks good.
Ward Burton racing Kenny Schrader and Casey Mears.
Well, we had one yellow car leading the race, run off and leaving everybody. Now we got another yellow car up front, run off and leaving everybody. This is very reminiscent of what happened here last year on Monday.
Finally, Jeff Gordon clears lap traffic in the person of John Andretti. So he's now in 3rd place, trying to close on the leaders as we watch the battle between Jerry Nadeau, Dale Jarrett for 17th. Behind them is Kurt Busch. Matt Kenseth, 1.1 seconds up on Ryan Newman. Ford, Dodge, Chevy, Jeff Gordon, the 3rd place car.
Tell you a car that either is not very good on fresh tires or either his car don't like to be in a pack. We talked about him earlier. He was really making a move, and that's Mark Martin in the 6th car. He has went from 6th to 10th, and he's dropping fast.
Just seems like, Larry, these guys come in and after a pit stop, some of these guys get their cars really out of balance. I don't know if they're doing it. I guess the air pressure thing is a big issue. I know it is here as fast as you go.
Looking at Jamie McMurray in the 42 car. He's back there in 12th position.
4 behind. 3 more behind him.
Darrell, Larry, sitting up back here in the Hollywood Hotel, I got a pretty good view of all the guys' pits. And we talked earlier today about how a lot of the teams had scuffed tires. Well, watching up and down pit road, there's some teams that have gone to the cars that have fallen out, gotten scuffed tires to continue that. Other teams are switching from scuffed tires to new tires as they run out. Now, maybe some of the problems are having to go through that transition of adjusting the cars to the new tires and the racetrack conditions right now as they get off the scuffed tires.
Well, Jeff, you know, our experience has been as the race wears on, halfway on, you need sticker tires. You need that extra grip that those brand new tires give you. And I would think that scuffs might have been good to start the day with, but I'd want to have a pit full of stickers for the end of the day.
Especially as this racetrack loses grip and the track temperature keeps coming up.
Black flag is out for Greg Biffle, the Busch Series champion. We saw that flailing fender earlier, and apparently it's come loose again. They're going to bring him to pit road.
I tell you, that just shows you there's a lot of turbulence around these race cars. You don't realize it by sitting up here watching it, but there's a lot of air that moves and blows around these race cars that can shake parts loose, like I've seen hoods, and now we've seen the whole side in this case.
They must have only brought 170 mile an hour tape.
Come this lap for the posters, bud.
Randy Goss is crew chief. If they post him, that means if they take away the scorecard and he's no longer being scored, that would be a problem. So Biffle will come in and make that repair.
Yeah, in his case, I'd just be hoping that maybe a piece of it would fly off and they'd get a caution.
190 laps complete in the Samsung Radioshack 500 on Fox. A Ford, a Dodge, and 3 Chevys lead the field here. 197 laps complete in the Samsung Radioshack 500. At the Great American Speedway, Texas Motor Speedway, north of Fort Worth. Matt Kenseth with a 1-second lead on Ryan Newman. Jeff Gordon a further half-second back.
Got some spirits up in that top 10 now. Guys that know how to run 500-mile races.
Matt Yoakum.
Well, to further update the scuffs versus stickers debate here on pit road, Jeff Gordon, he has been saving 2 sets of scuffs for the end of the race. Right now, he says on sticker tires, he's way too loose at the beginning. It's costing him too much time. He can't make it up over the course of the run. That's why they're holding on to the scuffs for their last 2 stops. And also in the 29, they picked up a set of scuffs from the 31. They were going to be 1 set of scuffs short.
But Matt, remember, Jeff Hammond talked about stickers and scuffs in the pre-race, but I'm going to tell you what, whatever he has on that race car right now is good, because he's about 0.2 of a second a lap quicker than anybody out there. It is pretty good right now, and he's reeling in Ryan Newman for that 2nd place.
We've documented Greg Biffle's problems. He's the only Roush car right now not in the top 20 because of that fender that pulled away. They taped it back down, sent him back out, and then had to bring him in to re-tape it again. Jeff Hammond, what's underneath all that?
What's going on, Mike? When we showed first when that fender got tore loose on Greg Biffle's car, we saw the little piece that got tore loose. And that right there was the inner panel. That helps to support part of the side of this race car. And what's going on right now, this piece is gone, and because of that, it can allow this fender to sit here and work back and forth. There's a lot of turbulence right here, and the fender itself is just literally wobbling, and it's ripping it loose from the bottom of the frame until they get some structure back in there to make their fender solid once again. Don't be surprised if Greg Biffle doesn't have to come back to pit road at least 1 more time to fix his problem.
Yeah, Jeff, what that panel does, it serves 2 purposes. It supports that outer structure. Also, we talked about this earlier, it seals off the firewall to the body side to keep fumes from out of where the driver is at in the cockpit.
2nd place battle right here, Larry.
Yeah, watch this. The 24 car is starting to work that outside, and it's really giving him a lot of momentum as he exits off the corner. He closes right up on the back of Ryan. He's actually been diamonding the corner a little bit, going in, letting it wash up in the center of the turn, and then trying to cut down under Newman off.
Matt?
Mike Newman is saying to his crew the car is tight all the way around, but especially off turn 2.
And it's when you're tight here, what that does, we talked about this earlier, you have to roll out the throttle to slow the speed of the car down. Then that makes it look like you're not running down the straightaway because you're not carrying that momentum down the straightaway.
Yeah, when you got the wheels turned hard left in the throttle, even though you're wide open, you're bogging it down because you're sliding those front tires.
Matt Kenseth, leader of this race, now by 1 second over Ryan Newman. If you haven't looked at Ford lately, look again. Look at the Roush Racing Fords right now, which are all in the top 20. Engine longevity a concern after what happened at Las Vegas and Atlanta. But they had great success last week at Bristol, and it appears so far to be carrying over.
Yeah, but these engines are just like running a marathon. You know, they don't really start giving out until they get right near the end, and then it's just a matter of that last 100 miles takes its toll.
You know, we just saw Mark Martin there in the Roush graphic. We talked about him a while ago. Looks like his car did not like traffic or fresh tires. I have to believe it don't like fresh tires. It needs some time on it. He's good on long runs because now he's battling Rusty Wallace for the 6th position. He had fallen all the way back to 10th on that restart. Jeannie, can you tell us a little more?
Well, Larry Mack, you are exactly right. He was waiting for the car to come to him. The car was just a little too tight when he went out. They're telling him on the radio, stay smooth. We'll pick them off 1 at a time. Ben Leslie is chief, nice and smooth, 1 at a time. We have plenty of time left in the car. He is coming to him. Steve?
Jeannie with Billy Wilbur and Rusty Wallace's crew chief. Billy, what can you do to get that 2 car up to the front of the pack here as we head to the end of the race?
Right now, we've got to get the car freed up a little bit on the restarts with new tires. We've been a little slow on the takeoff, but right now we're breaking even with the leader. So we just got to figure out what to do, how to free the car up and not get him too free, you know, over the long run. That's what we're working on right now.
Now they're running about 11 seconds behind the leader right now, who is Matt Kenseth. And these long green runs, you see, we're coming up on pit stops once again.
Well, he's our points leader, and he's certainly doing everything he needs to be doing here today, leading laps and up there at the front of the pack. You know, remember, of our lead lap cars, which right now we have 19 on the lead lap, about 10 of those cars can run probably 8 to 10 laps further than a lot of the guys at the front because they came in and pitted on that caution that when Elliott Sadler crashed back there on the backstretch.
That was back at lap 168. So before these cars start making pit stops, we'll take one. 207 laps complete in the Samsung Radioshack 500.